Brussels' grand dream of making Russia pay has crashed headfirst into Washington's new peace blueprint. The US proposed plan, drafted with Moscow, not Europe, calls for unblocking nearly $300 billion in frozen Russian assets and turning them into US-led investment funds. In one stroke, the EU's prized reparations loan collapses, its leverage evaporates, and its role in Ukraine shrinks to that of a powerless bystander. For Kyiv, the pressure is immediate. President Volodymyr Zelenskyy says Washington is forcing a deal by next week, leaving Ukraine with what he calls a choice between dignity and losing its most important ally. And with the Trump administration pushing hard, the EU's December summit plan to finalize Ukraine's 2026-27 funding now looks like political theater.
This is one of the most difficult moments in our history. Currently, the pressure on Ukraine is one of the hardest.
Under the US plan, $100 billion in frozen Russian assets would be invested under Washington's control, with the US pocketing half the profits. Europe must then add another $100 billion from its own unfrozen funds. Another joint US-Russia investment vehicle would follow, effectively giving Moscow commercial rewards after starting the war. Brussels calls this intense work continuing, but the bloc looks more like a spectator watching its leverage dissolve.
I can confirm that the ongoing intense work on the immobilized Russian assets will continue.
Inside the EU, the fractures widen. Belgium, sitting on $185 billion of Russian assets, refuses to move without ironclad guarantees. Hungary rejects the entire scheme as absurd, while Slovakia balks at anything involving military aid. Only Germany, Poland, the Nordics and the Baltics remain firmly in favor, now blindsided by Washington's end-run diplomacy.
May I ask you right away, what is happening with the frozen assets? Will we see this going through today or not? What do the Belgians still need?
Well, I'm looking forward to the discussion on the immobilized assets, not the frozen assets. There's a big difference, the sovereign assets. There's the idea of confiscating them to give them to Ukraine. I'm looking for the legal basis for this decision. This is not a detail. Even during the Second World War, immobilized assets were never touched. So this is a very important step if we would like to take it. We have three demands. I want a full mutualization of the risk, because there is a big risk. We will suffer from enormous claims. So if we want to do this, we will have to do this all together. We want guarantees if the money has to be paid back.
And Hungary sees the US plan as vindication, another chance to slam Brussels' mismanagement, corruption concerns, and its unwavering, costly bet on Ukraine.
Europe can turn back from this dead end and unite behind President Trump's peace initiative. Pro-war leaders have wasted the hard-earned money of Europeans on a war that cannot be won on the battlefield.
With $300 billion of frozen assets slipping from its hands, the EU now faces the humiliation of being cut out of a peace deal in its own backyard. Its reparations loan is stranded, its unity fractured, and its influence overshadowed, leaving Brussels to confront an uncomfortable truth. The Ukraine lifeline it promised is no longer in its control